So the alter ego reveal trope has been in the news lately, causing a little bit of a stir on Twitter. The trope where a hero like Superman takes off his glasses and reveals he's Clark Kent, which should be obvious, but isn't. Like in the most recent episode of My Adventures with Superman, where girl twink Lois Lane is upset with himbo Clark Kent for not telling her he's Superman. We see her jump off a building to force Clark to prove his secret identity, and I gotta say, I love this logic by Lois, cause she puts herself in a lose-lose scenario. She either gets saved by Clark, meaning her coworker, friend, and potential boyfriend has lied to her this whole time, or she's wrong and dies. A lot of people are annoyed with Lois, suggesting that she's irrational for getting mad at Clark for lying about his identity when she's been trying to expose Superman, or that she's a hypocrite because she lied about several things in the series so far, damn near getting Clark, Jimmy, and herself fired.
Are you kidding? He kept me behind because he wants you to help me follow up on my stolen robot story.
Really? Oh, he seemed pretty upset.
Nah, that's just his face.
So like, can she really be mad at other people for lying? Today I'm gonna uncover the truth of the secret identity reveal trope and how it can work and fail. We're not only gonna discuss superhero shows like Invincible and Spiderman, but what if I told you some of the best twists on the secret identity trope came from Hannah Montana, or Phineas and Ferb? So first, let's take a closer look at the Superman drama that opened this can of worms. In the new series My Adventure with Superman, we see Clark Kent / Superman as a bit of a bumbling guy who seeks to live an average life despite his superpowers. I saw someone on Twitter say there's no way he's still breaking his alarm clock every morning, and I just think of that when I see the beginning of this show. Anyways, his two friends he works with at his job at the Daily Planet newspaper make it pretty difficult to live a normal life. Lois Lane is a spontaneous go-getter, always looking for the next big story, which as of late has been trying to get the scoop on Superman. Her character is really refreshing, like we see her negotiate for intel of what's going on downtown from a group of kids she tutors in English, and it's like, she's an idiot. I love her. When the show was first announced, you just know a lot of people were doomed, and I just know it's because of this hairstyle. That damn hairstyle. So on top of feeling Lois was entitled for wanting to know Clark's identity and all that, I think what dissatisfied people the most was the fact that this trope has been done so many times before, and has played out very similarly each time without much variation. For instance, the superhero begins flaking on dates, or work, or school, tensions keep rising until they finally admit they're a superhero, and the person is mad or shocked instead of saying, wow, that's awesome. Then they eventually make up for some reason, and the resolution is just kinda mild at best. I get why the repetition of the trope is annoying for viewers, but there's a couple things I think are just misinterpreted in my opinion that I'd like to look further into. Some people think these shows would just be better with no tension or drama, but I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. Superman's boring. Okay, let me defend this, hold on. Some people feel a character that's so strong and stoic is hard to relate to or to find interesting, but what makes Superman interesting is his relations with others, and the problems heroes deal with that normal people can find #relatable. Yes, Superman can move mountains and punch meteors, but he struggles to be honest with Lois, to fit in with his family. He struggles to fit in because he's not from here, and I think this is a lot more evident in the earlier Superman comics, where his conflicts deal a lot more with civil rights, and he's treated as an immigrant in the early 1900s. I think just about everyone watching this show knows who Superman is, even if you haven't watched a Superman series before. So I think instead of harping on the mystery of who Superman is and where he's from, the show focuses a little more on Lois and her relation with Superman, and it's actually pretty interesting. I mean, the show is called My Adventure with Superman, not Superman. Does that mean Lois is the title character? I've seen a lot of people say the superheroes and their significant others should just resolve their situations, like, I'm upset that you lied, but I understand why, and it's cool, let's just move on. But that's just like, devoid of any tension or drama, I don't know. Some people look at superhero shows and say they're soap operas with capes, and that if you really look at the drama behind why they're upset or their love triangles, it does resemble a soap opera in more ways than you'd think. So I think among fans, whenever new shows come out, there's always a little bit of a division of whether they want the hero to be dramatic and have an interesting plot where there's tension and drama, versus other superhero stories that are seen as quote-unquote the roots of a superhero, in which they're just an honorable badass guy who beats the villain, gets the gal, and saves the world. And that's not to say one is better than the other, or that I really have a preference between the two, because for me it really depends on the execution of either for me to like one. It is a little ironic though that the subversion of the trope where the person's mad at the superhero is now seen as generic, because I kinda don't don't think it's as generic as it seems. So we get that Lois is mad because Clark lied to her about his identity, and some people think Lois seems entitled here or doesn't really have the right to get mad. And I definitely do agree with these statements. I mean, I don't think Lois is in the right here, but I don't think her being in the wrong is really a product of the show being bad. I just think Lois is kind of a rash character. I've seen a lot of people compare her to Amber from Invincible, in that they've acted very similarly and that they're hated by the audience. So I do want to take a quick look at Amber from Invincible. This will have spoilers for Invincible, just so you know, so be warned if you want to skip to this section on screen. I'll have it up here and a timestamp. So I actually think Amber is a really good representation of the balance struggles a hero will have trying to live a normal life to its fullest. Obviously, Mark needs to stop a meteor from hitting the Earth as opposed to getting a damn 4 for 4 with Amber, so why wouldn't she be mad if she didn't know this? Well, part of why people hate Amber is because she apparently knew Mark was invincible for a while, but didn't say anything. People feel like she's gaslighting or manipulative by knowing this, but still challenging Mark for why he bails on scenarios like when the college was getting attacked. And it's like, it's crazy for people to call her the gaslighter when Mark was lying about his identity and stringing her along and bailing on dates. I don't want to be too much of a centrist on the argument, but both characters act pretty logically to me. Mark just gained his powers and just got a girlfriend. Why would he want to give one of these things up? It wouldn't be advisable to reveal his identity right away, especially when he's figuring out stuff for himself. But Amber was getting strung along and stood up, and it makes sense she'd be upset. Even after she knew he was invincible, she still dated him and waited for him to admit it. I get that it might not be comfortable or advisable to admit, but like, if he's not gonna tell her, she has the right to not want to be strung along and endangered. People hate Amber because she's entitled or she seems like kind of a jerk, and it definitely didn't help that Mark seems like he was punished for saving the community and his friends by getting broken up with. But I actually like Amber, and I think she was a pretty good representation of the plot of Invincible and needing to balance your superhero life and your regular life that you want to defend. I know a lot of people hate Amber, so I would really like to know why you like or dislike Amber or Lois in the comments, but I want to take a quick break from all this superhero crap and talk about how the alter ego reveal trope works in other genres. I can't believe I'm comparing Hannah Montana to Superman, but here we freaking are. The reveal that regular teenager Miley Cyrus is actually pop star Hannah Montana is a pretty fun subversion of the secret identity trope. Like when Hannah Montana has a concert IRL, I was like,
oh my gosh, I know who you are!
She's not fooling me, I know who's under that wig. But in the Hannah Montana TV show, Miley's just an average girl by day, she gets made fun of by the popular girls at school, and is nervous around boys she likes. But at night, she's one of the biggest pop sensations, Hannah Montana. No one knows her secret identity because she wants to be treated like a normal girl, even if she could just swag on the popular girls if people knew. We have Miley's best friend Lily sneak backstage at a concert, and is pretty shocked and upset to find out her best friend and her idol are the same person. So it's pretty common for the person discovering the secret to be upset. I mean, Lily's upset she couldn't be trusted, especially with knowing her best friend is her favorite singer and the coolest person in the world to her. But Miley's upset Lily knows because she fears Lily will treat her differently. To make matters worse, Lily accidentally calls Miley Hannah, only proving her fears were true.
Come on, cut me some slack, Hannah! Hannah? I knew this would happen! Did I say Hannah? I didn't mean that. It was a mistake. No, the mistake was trusting you.
You don't see shows often have the secret holder upset at the other person, which is pretty cool. And while they do make up in a heartwarming way by the end, I love this example of the alter ego reveal trope because it shows how the unmasking trope not only creates conflict, but also how the resolution deepens relationships and character development. You may remember in Phineas and Ferb, there was the platypus, Perry, who led a double life as a secret agent. They had a movie in which Perry's secret agent identity is revealed and Phineas responds in a not too cool way.
You're a secret agent? And you've been living with us this whole time? Was that evil guy right? Were we just a cover story to you? I mean, were you ever really our pet or part of our family? Well, apparently not, because you didn't trust us enough to tell us. Anyone else around here leading a bizarre double life? Put your hand down, Ferb.
He's hurt he couldn't be trusted, sure, but what he doesn't know is that if Perry's identity is revealed, Perry would have to be relocated and taken away from his family. Why is this the case? I don't know. Plot convenience? I mean, the kids are geniuses. Make an exception for them, come on. The movie kind of strings along Phineas being upset at Perry and not listening to him for any reasoning. Like, Perry never really gets to redeem himself, and it's so frustrating. Perry tries to give Phineas a pamphlet that says if his identity is revealed, he'll have to relocate, but Phineas throws it out. Perry even hands himself into the bad guys so they don't hurt his family, but Doofenshmirtz and his alternate dimension, actually competent self, say, JK, we're still gonna do it, and then we never get to actually acknowledge that Perry made a sacrifice here. The movie ends with everyone deciding to take an amnesia-inducing laser beam so they can forget Perry's agent identity. This will allow them to keep him as their pet, who will have to keep lying to them in order to preserve this secret identity. I actually think it's cool to be upset at Perry lying, but then turn around and be like, okay, let's laser beam ourselves to forget everything so he'll get to lie to us again moving forward.
Shut the fuck up, I will fucking laser you with alien fucking eyes and explode your fucking head.
Don't even get me started on the laser-guided amnesia trope. I want to wrap this video up, not make it last 2 more days. The very last thing I want to talk about is Spider-Man 2. There's a pretty memorable train scene in which Peter Parker has to stop a train from running off the tracks, but he loses his mask. Despite revealing his identity, the people he saves help him without really acknowledging that they could reveal his secret, even handing him back his mask. This mutual respect is also seen at the end of the movie during his fight with Doc Ock, in which his identity is revealed to Mary Jane. She reacts in awe, but in a pretty positive way, and then we get one of the funniest screams in movie, nay, cinema history. Everyone seems to love this reveal, and I've seen it referred to as a traditional hero reveal, aka the guy is seen as cool and badass, and the lady loves it. I think one of my biggest takeaways from looking at all these alter ego reveals is that people like the hero being seen as a cool guy and impressing the lady more than causing drama and tension. Granted, all these stories are a bit different, so it might be comparing apples to oranges, but when people complain about Amber or Lois and talk about superhero reveals going back to their roots, it does feel like we're comparing apples and oranges in a way to what people want in a superhero reveal and what people want out of a story. It's not cool to see the hero punished for saving the world by having his girlfriend break up with him, but I personally think superhero shows need drama to not be boring, and because these characters are lying to each other and creating this drama, it's not supposed to end positively for both parties. The drama and issues are what make these heroes relatable to me. I can't fly, hell I can barely pick up my dog. And again, superhero storylines feel like soap operas at times with love triangles, drama, and betrayal. Does Lois overreact to Clark being Superman? I don't know if it's even possible to overreact to someone you know being Superman. Hey, I was just calling to let you know I'm Superman. Oh yeah, that's pretty cool. You should have lost to Goku in the death battle! I think it's pretty understandable to act rash or shocked, and even seeing people comment about Spider-Verse and how they're looking forward to seeing how the reveal goes in Spider-Verse is really interesting to me. So I don't think people hate the alter ego reveal. In fact, I think a lot of people look forward to how it's going to be done. Even in a franchise like Spider-Man, where it's been done hundreds of times before, people are still looking forward to how it's going to be done in the new one. But I'm equally interested to see how they will make up from this situation, like how we see Amber and Mark make up in Invincible, or how we see Lily and Miley make up in Hannah Montana. So no, I don't hate Lois, nor do I hate Amber. Phineas was a little bit of a prick though, old triangle head ass. There's other examples of the alter ego reveal trope in pop culture that I just didn't want to get into in this video, like Skylar White.
私はスカイラー・ホワイト。夫はウォルター・ホワイトだからよ。そうよ。
And some people did make points about maybe people being mad at all these characters for how they react to this superhero reveal might be inherently a little bit sexist. But honestly, I could hardly find any examples of female characters revealing their hero and a guy getting mad. But I do think it is interesting to speculate if the hatred for some of these characters might be inherently kinda just because they're women in a way. I'd love to know your thoughts on this situation. Are there any characters or scenarios that you loved or hated that I talked about? With that being said, I'll talk to you next week. Feel free to like and subscribe if you made it this far. It really helps me a lot, and I look forward to seeing what y'all have to say. Alright, see you next week. Bye.